Now we will turn it over to Shecorie and she'll introduce herself and take it away.
Oh, wow. Hello. My name is Shecorie Conley. Here in Danville, Virginia. I am a serial entrepreneur as well, Jermaine. So I completely understand. So I am in the accounting and tax industry in all different types of facets, whether it's actually, I do own a business, River Citi Tax Solutions in Danville. We provide accounting, tax preparation, consulting, all tax related and accounting for individuals and small businesses. I do have other businesses in other areas, satellites in Maryland, North Carolina, as well as a virtual business and as well as a software business, a tax software business. So, um, yeah, pretty busy. What I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for life in general. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for being able to get up every day and to do this and to do what I enjoy and what I love. I'm thankful for the people that are around me, who encourage me, support me, and I'm thankful to be here today. So I hope that you all will receive the information that I have, and hope that it's helpful for you as well. And I guess I'll just go into my little spill hope. Okay. All right. So I'm here today to um, give some insight on year end. I know we are all busy trying to get through the holidays and also to close things out with our businesses. So I just wanted kind of to bring some general things that I typically discuss with my business clients or just in general when I'm talking to individuals in regards to year end. So making sure that we're getting prepared to close the year out and to start the new year. So the first thing in regards to finances in our business and taxes is that we need to organize our documents. So those are like making sure that we have our invoices, those that have been paid, those who are outstanding, any receipts, bank statements, that we have all of that stuff in order because when we're ready to close our books out, whether you are actually handling your bookkeeping yourself, or if you actually have outsourced that to a bookkeeper or an accounting professional, those documents need to be actually in order and to be organized. So that is essentially the first step when closing out and tips for year end. And then if you do this, because everybody in their business may be differently at a different stage, if you are actually handling your books, to just make sure that we're reconciling. So we want to make sure what exactly happened in our financials, in our transactions is actually reflecting in our books. So reconciling those accounts and making sure that you're checking for discrepancies. And then if you do find those, to make those necessary adjustments. Um, Also reviewing your accounts receivable and accounts payable. So we want to make sure that we follow up with any overdue payments. So should be a time that we're following up with our clients who may have outstanding invoices, because we want to make sure that our income is properly accounted for, and that we're closing things out for the year and we're not carrying over a lot of open balances and things like that. If you have bad debts, so these are debts or things with clients or customers that you just cannot collect on, make sure that you have those things in order, because you can actually write off bad debts in your business. That is a qualified deductible as far as when it comes to your taxes. So knowing who hasn't paid you, knowing, if you've done every single thing that you possibly can to collect, and you may just have to honestly move on from that account. And also, if you have any outstanding bills that you need to pay as well, we want to make sure those things are done before you start the new year, just to start off on a clean slate. For my retail people, inventory. So inventory is very, very, very key as well. Not sure who's online that participates or does some type of product or retail, but if your business hold inventory, we want to make sure we conduct a year-end account to make sure that your records are reflecting that. So we want to know what is our inventory at the end of the year. We really should know what we started off at the beginning of the year, but it's very important to know what we actually have at the end of the year, what you've actually spent on inventory, knowing your unit prices, knowing what you actually had to discard that was something that wasn't able to sell, or things that you had to mark down and was unable and maybe actually taking a loss. So knowing that information and that assessment is very key, because you want to make sure your cost of goods is as accurate as possible when you're preparing your taxes. Also, it just makes, things, it's almost like a decision making activity to make sure that you're looking at, am I buying too much inventory? So you want to kind of you want to know what you have to make sure that you're not, overbuying and things like that. Tax prep. So in order, as far as tax preparation, we know that's coming around the corner. Depending on your business entity structure, this is a time that you really should be contacting your tax professional. You really should be having these conversations, specifically around if you purchase any type of equipment or any type of business related equipment that you're using, because you want to, one, accurately make sure that that is accounted on your books, and two, you want to make sure that your professional knows to do that, because there are certain things that as small business owners or as business owners in general that we can do to help us with our tax liabilities, such as depreciating our assets. So if you have assets in your business that you actually use to generate revenue, you can actually receive deductions on the use of that equipment. This can also be copyrights, softwares, lots of different things. So if you're unsure of things that you purchased in your business and what they can be deductible as far as assets or depreciate, this is time to reach out to your tax professional or your CPA. It could be your tax professional, CPA. Find out, what do I need to do to prepare for next year? Is there some type of checklist to kind of make yourself a little organized, so when it's time, you're not kind of like rushing and trying to try to do everything at the last moment. So if you don't have a person, of course you can always contact me, but if you don't have a person, you definitely, can search in your area. You can always go to iris.gov, search in your area. They can find, you can find the people that in your area that are listed with the IRS that actually do that perform those services for you. Evaluating your performance in your business. So looking at your income statements. So there are two types of statements that you actually look at in your business. If you're handling your books correctly, you have your profit and loss statement and your income statement, which is like what we call the balance sheet. Okay. Your profit and loss statement basically is going to show all of your gross income and what you actually generated for that year. And then as you go along, you will see all of your expenses. Well, if you're accurately doing your books, it will list all the expenses that you have for that year. So take a look at those line items and see where you're spending the most of your money. Typically, if you are a small business and you have employees, payroll is most likely to be the bulk of your expenses, because payroll typically is the biggest expense. But look at those expenses. And when you look at those expenses, you can determine budgets. So you definitely, in order for you to determine a budget, you need to know what you're spending. So you can take that information and develop your budget for next year. So if you know that you want to increase your marketing by, say, about 20 or 30%, you will know what your baseline is for marketing. So if I spend $5,000 in marketing and there are some things that I want to do next year to increase revenue and some things I want to participate in regards to marketing, you can actually use that $5,000 as your baseline number. Okay. Let's see, because y'all, I'm doing this off the fly. Yes. So as I said, those expenses and revenues, it can determine your expense and revenue growth and to help you with business decisions. So setting new goals. Based on your year end, what's going on in your business, again, you can set those financial goals for you. So looking at your documents, knowing what you have can definitely help you to making a decision of, what do you want to do next and how much money you want to make. If you want to set a goal, say, hey, I want to make $50,000 more than I did next year. knowing what you actually did the year before, looking at that information and organizing can help you figure out what you need to do to increase that revenue. So set those goals while you are actually doing your year end, and update your budget. So if you have a budget, as I mentioned before, use this information in a year end, get this is some time to kind of sit down and figure out, how you want to update your business. And this could be, according to things that's happening in our business, because different things happen in our business at different times. Um, Market changes and conditions and just operationally in general can, definitely, impact our budget. This is one that is very, very important to me. Backing up your data. We want to make sure that our financial data is secure and backed up securely. So we want to make sure we're looking at things that we can protect our data and for future analysis. So we want to make sure that information is somewhere that is secure, that you can easily assess. Reflect and plan. Take time to reflect on the past year, and plan, for next year's successes. And don't feel like you're alone, because you're not alone. So if you have questions or need anything, you can find the necessary people in your area that can help you. If not, I can drop my email address and provide, just insider information for you as well. And that's pretty much all I have in a nutshell today. And I hope this information is definitely is helpful for you. And again, take this time to kind of put the plan in motion for next year, and try to start off the year on a good foot.
Awesome. Thank you. That was
You're
fantastic.
welcome.
We will open it up to questions.
Questions? Mhm.
I don't see any in the chat yet, but feel free to unmute, or if you'd like to drop a question in the chat, you can do that as well. I will start with one. Is there any tools or software that you recommend that makes some of this easier for entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. When I speak to my startups, I always recommend Wave Apps. Wave Apps is a tool that is very similar to QuickBooks, but it's free. Okay. It is a free subscription. It gives you the basics, the tools, the nuts and bolts, and gives you those standard reports, such as your profit and loss and your balance sheet. So what you would do is you would go to waveapps.com and you will connect your business account with Wave Apps, because any accounting software that's going to record your transactions that you're actually doing on that business account. So this is where we shouldn't be commingling funds. So we really should have our business account set up. All our transactions are going through our business account, because when we set up our accounting records, it's going to pull the transactions. I love it. Again, it's free, it's low cost. You can invoice through it as well. So if you need an invoicing feature, you can do that as well. And when you connect it, you will categorize your expenses. So if it's office supplies, banking fees, whatever your ledger is of your expenses, you can set that up, and then you can reconcile your account. So reconciliation is really easy. So basically you will put in what your ending balance is for that month, what it is for the prior month, and your transactions in your bank statement need to match. Okay. If you have any questions on how to do that, there are some great YouTube videos on Wave Apps that can show you how to reconcile. It's literally going through your bank statement, putting those numbers in, making sure they match, and click a button. But ensuring you want to make sure you have them in the transactions in the right category. So that is my go-to for entrepreneurs to get started. Even if you're not getting started, it's just a way that you can have a bookkeeping if you want to DIY it, and it's low cost on fees for that software. Yep.
Great.
Good question.
Any other questions?
That was great information. And I really appreciate that, especially the resource. So thanks, Lauren. You're a tax person, but when people start out in business, I'm just going to tell you, this came from a horrible experience. What would you say to people who are checking out people to do their taxes? Because why would you say, and I truly believe everything you're saying, but this coming from just a horrible experience I had, making sure you know who's doing your taxes, what would you say to folks?
Well, one I would say is to check the IRS, because that person is indeed have a proprietor, a number that they've done, and you can actually see their designations. So there are three designations. You're either going to have a CPA or someone that is a registered tax preparer that is in there, and they've done what we call the annual season filing. Annual season filing is 18 credit hours of continuing education a person has to take, and they have to take an exam, which is 100 questions. People who are true professionals take pride in, continuing their education and making sure that they're up to date on the laws, okay? The laws and the changes. So I would, if you don't know who's in your area and you're searching for, on irs.gov, honestly is where I would start. And you put your zip code in. And if you're looking for those return preparers and those people that's credentialed, you'll see their designation. Honestly, I would go with people that are that designation. CPAs are a little bit more expensive, but a experienced tax professional can do the same things that a CPA can do. A CPA basically just handles audits more so. Okay, let's be honest. If people want to know the difference, CPAs handle audits. Auditing, meaning you need to do an audit review for a company or a nonprofit. Okay. You have the credential to actually say, I have thoroughly reviewed and audited this company and their numbers. This is it. Okay. But I would start there, because you could actually see the credentials. Someone who is actually doing the work and doing the work correctly and taking pride in their profession will definitely be there. That is my go-to on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you, Lauren, too, for putting that out there. Yep. I'm on there somewhere. Yeah. Any other questions? Just to add another caveat too, for my business owners, we need to look at our entity structure and how we're set up. It's going to determine how we file our taxes. I find a lot of my small business owners, they're very confused. Like they think that maybe they need to file a separate business return versus their personal return. 90% of small businesses are sole proprietors. And so in the eyes of the IRS, that means if you have an LLC and there's only one owner, which we call members, you're a single member LLC. The IRS looks at you as a sole proprietor. So that means your income will be on a 1040, which is your personal return. So you don't have to file an additional, like a separate business return. I get a lot of my people who've come to me after the fact, and they're like, well, I thought I was supposed to file my business, and then I found my personal, but I haven't found my business. And I said, well, you are a single member LLC. And they say, yeah. And I said, well, we have to go back and amend your return, because you have to add your business income on there. So I just want to clear that up, because a lot of people get confused, especially if you're new to entrepreneurship and never filed business taxes before, or if you're, navigating to other taxation entities and you're trying to figure out how, what forms I need to use if you do this stuff on your own. So I just want to kind of give that caveat as well. That was on my list and I forgot. I do apologize.
Excellent.
All right.
Any questions before we I'm sorry, someone was going to say something.
Hey, it's Lauren. I was just that. So March 15th is another day that we need to remember, right? Not just April 15th, but also March 15th is when businesses that aren't sole proprietorships need to submit by. Is that right?
Right. March 15th is for businesses who are small corporations. They actually may be an LLC, but they're getting taxed as a small corporation. or if they are a corporation, like Lauren said, anything beyond a sole proprietorship, that is a date as well. So that is why in my business, I start talking to these people now, getting them prepared now, because there's a little bit more analysis and moving parts, and cleanup, and year-end processes. So we want to make sure that we meet that deadline as well. So the March 15th deadline is for my S Corps and my C Corps and my partnerships. So if you fall into any of those, March 15th is the deadline.
So are you accepting new clients? What's the best way for people to reach out if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, I'm accepting new clients. The best way to reach out is through our website, which is I'll put it in the chat. And also I also have a scheduling link as well. River Citi Tax.com. Our office number, I'll list that as well. And I will put my scheduling link in the chat as well if you want to schedule a consult. I don't charge for consults. If you have general questions, you can set a 15-minute consult. But if you need other services, they're listed there as well. And I'll make sure that in the scheduling link it's there. And let's see, hold just a second. 201-2385.
Is anyone going through this the first time this year? Was anyone in business for the first time in 2023?
And that's my scheduling link. Oh, yeah. So most of this stuff probably is kind of a little bit redundant. If this isn't your first time, just preparation now will make your life a lot easier. And again, if you need things, at the beginning of the year after tax season, and you're wondering how, how can I make things a lot smoother, we could do that as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This was fantastic information. And I know there were some people who couldn't attend, but they've asked for the recording. So we'll send that to them. So if you feel free to stay with us, but I understand if you need to leave because you are superwoman being super busy.
I don't know about that, but thank you so much. But it was a pleasure meeting everyone. And again, I'm here as a resource. If you have any questions about anything, I'm here. So you guys have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.